All right, all right, all right. We're gonna get this party started in 1 second here. I'm gonna see if I can get Rich or any of my co-hosts in here, maybe Dark or someone like that. Oh, Flying Rich, and he's upside down.
Breaking news!
Oh yeah, I gotta do the breaking news thing. Let me just fix everything here. I'll get the breaking
30
news thing
round
out.
bag!
All right. Do you know what the breaking news is, or are you just coming in?
Rare breed triggers getting sued by the Fed.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are live and in style.
I gotta quit messing around.
Looks like we only got 3
Is
people.
this a
in here.
live face? This is a live.
See, Alan Powell, MC. We're gonna get more people in here. We have to have more people. 7 people.
We can't break the news until there's more people. Are you on the news channel also?
Yeah, I'm on the news channel. I'm everywhere.
Well, there should be a lot more than 7 people in here then.
Yeah. Not
Kurt
sure.
24. Kurt, you got to change your emoji
Now we got
icon,
70.
whatever.
So we jumped from 7 to 70. So
Okay,
we're going.
now we're getting there.
All right. So
Smash Time's joining. I was just on the phone with Smashy.
Yeah, we're gonna get a little bit more people. Cheating Galley, New England. You are more than welcome to come on if you want. I'll send you the link here.
You want me to send him the link?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
I got it.
Okay, we got 115. This is enough. Let's go ahead and start the fun here. Indiana, Smash Time, David, JT, David, another David. We got a couple of Davids. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here just so we can have it up. And this is the United States versus Rare Breed. I'm gonna blow it up.
Rare breeds in the right. I can't believe they would do anything wrong. Lawrence DeMonico is a real Chad.
Here.
And Kevin Maxwell.
I'm whatever. Whatever the I'm gonna root for them. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Okay, but thank you. I stand corrected.
All right.
And thank you, ChatGPT, for doing my homework.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got to tell you what I was doing with it.
All right. Well, let's do this. We talk to ChatGPT. We can talk about that offline. We're here to talk about this. This is the United States of America versus Rare Breed Triggers, Rare Breed Firearms, Lawrence DeMonico, and Kevin Maxwell. Let's set the stage first. Rare Breed Triggers is a company that is the child company of the parent company, which, no, this is not good news, which is the child company of Rare Breed Firearms, which is the parent company. Lawrence DeMonico is the president of Rare Breed Firearms and Rare Breed Triggers. He is not the owner. Kevin Maxwell is the owner of Rare Breed Triggers. So there's a little bit of a misnomer there. The United States government, I already read through this once, is asking for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction. Gone Postal, I'm not rooting against Rare Breed at all. I want them to win. That's what I said.
No, and look, I don't care what you're doing in the 2A community as long as you're not ripping people off. I think everything should be legal, but Rare Breed.
All right. Well, let's. But
I'm rooting for him. Don't get me wrong.
Let's just do facts. Facts here.
Yeah. Stick to the facts.
Yeah. I will say I want Rare Breed to beat this.
Yes, so, we all do.
We're gonna look through this. I'm gonna skim through it because I've already read through it once. Oh. Okay. Okay. He was talking about you, Rich. Not me. All right. Rare Breed Triggers. Okay, so this basically just lays out that a Rare Breed Triggers
defraud the United States.
They're trying to defraud the United States. That they told it was a machine gun, and Rare Breed ignored this, and they tried to thwart their mandate, Rare ATF mandate, to protect the people from machine guns. Blah, blah, blah.
ATF has a mandate to protect people from machine guns?
Yeah, that's NFA stuff. But it's
I mean,
but read. Can you read this? I'm going to highlight it for you to read.
knowingly and intentionally conspired to defraud the United States by impeding, impairing, obstructing, and defeating the lawful government functions of ATF in the regulation of machine guns under the National Firearms Act of 1934, NFA, and Gun Control Act of 1968, GCA. Additionally,
Go ahead.
probable cause exists to believe that defendants have engaged in the ongoing commission of mail fraud in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1341, wire fraud in the violation of 18 U.S.C. 1343, as well as conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. No, not the conspiracy charge, in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1349 in connection with their sale of illegal FRT 15s.
Yeah, it is definitely all infringement. All right. We're not going to read all this. This basically just it states the ATF ability to regulate the industry under the GCA and the NFA here.
Oh, is this a definition or redefinition?
All right.
Of
Well, we're
machine
doing
gun?
the news. We're not. This is definition
we're
of
doing
machine gun.
news?
This is
Okay.
the NFA. I wanted to try to get this out, Rich. The facts out.
The facts,
Yeah. All right.
not my commentary.
Yeah, not your commentary. Exactly. All right. So this
Okay, can we
basically
read this paragraph? Hold on. The paragraph, single pull of a trigger.
Yeah.
All right, so a machine gun, any weapon which is designed to shoot or can be readily restored to shoot automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of the trigger. The term shall also include the frame or receiver of any such weapon, any part designed and intended solely and exclusively, or combination of parts designed and intended for use in converting a weapon into a machine gun, and any combination of parts from which a machine gun can be assembled if such parts are in the possession or under control of a person. So an FRT forces.
No commentary. I'm trying to get through this, Rich. People are saying you talk too much, Rich. Maybe control your OCD a little bit. Okay, right here, read this paragraph.
The Supreme Court has also noted that the term automatically means that the weapon fires repeatedly with a single pull of the trigger. Stables versus United States, 511 U.S. 600 602.
You can skip all that. You don't have to read the actual.
Okay. That is, one trigger is depressed, the weapon, all right, hold on. That is, once its trigger is depressed, the weapon will automatically continue to fire until the trigger is released or ammunition is exhausted. Law affirming firearm is designed to fire automatically but modified to fire semi-automatically was a machine gun.
All right. Next paragraph.
Courts have routinely held that a machine gun is a statutory term of art that includes any weapon which shoots automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of trigger.
Yeah, the single function of a trigger, they don't consider it a single pull anymore.
Yeah, that's the updated version.
Yes. All right. We got Dark here too. Okay. So we're not going to do commentary. We're going to get the facts out there, Dark. Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to keep Rich. All right. So this is basically permitted under the Commerce Clause, saying that the NFA is permitted under the Commerce Clause. And that's what makes it. I can read. But sometimes I don't speak too clearly, so that's why I have Rich do it. And this talks about the NFA, all that other stuff. So now we're going to get to the meat of the things. So go ahead and read the first paragraph, Rich.
According to the defendant, Monaco, defendants created RBT in April 2020 specifically to sell a forced reset trigger. All right, I'm not taking that call. See declarations of ATF Special Agent Daniel
Don't worry about
Daniel
that.
K. To simplify, certain forced reset triggers allow a firearm to automatically expel more than one shot with a single function of the trigger or single continuous pull of the trigger. Defendants have been looking for such a trigger to sell, and they found the AR-1, a product owned by Company A.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, what they're saying is they found a trigger that was sold, that was called the AR1, and it was sold by a company A. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Read the next paragraph.
In 2017, Company A submitted the AR1, a forced reset trigger meant for use in an AR-15 type firearm, to ATF classification December 25th. Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, basically, I can break it down. Basically, they bought the AR1 and they rebranded it as the AR-15. The ATF is claiming that Company A already submitted the AR1 and it was already designated a machine gun.
Oof.
So they're trying to say that Rare Breed bought something that they knew was a machine gun
from the get-go.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Ouch.
So read.
The FRT-15 is the commercial embodiment of the 223 patent, and the FRT-15 functions the same way as the AR1. Just like the AR1, the FRT-15 allows the firearm to fire automatically with a single constant rearward pull until the trigger is released, the firearm malfunctions, or the firearm exhausts the ammunition supply.
All right.
Prior to beginning its sales, the FRT-15 RBT Rare Breed Trigger decided not to send its FRT-15 to ATF for classification. Boop. Instead, RBT sought opinions of private individuals who were not currently affiliated with the ATF to claim that the FRT was not a machine gun. RBT has touted the opinions of these private individuals in their marketing materials, going so far as to use opinions to convince wary customers that the FRT-15 is legal. Wow.
All right, keep on going.
RBT did not tell its customers the fact that ATF determined the FR-15's predecessor product was a machine gun, nor did RBT share with its customers that it had not sought an ATF classification for the FRT-15 prior to offering it for sale, but RBT went ahead selling the FRT-15s anyway. In addition, on or about 2020, RBT stated that selling the FR-15 nationwide, started selling the FR-15 nationwide through
we
its
can skip
website.
this part. This is saying that it's starting to sell. This is we're going to skip through a lot of this. This is where they're trying to say that the RBT Rare Breed Triggers made a complex set of interlocking companies, basically to obscure the actual ownership management of the company, trying to hide.
Like we didn't know who owned it?
Yeah,
like we didn't know.
Yeah.
Do they
hide
about that? About which companies?
Yes, right down here. We got Rare Breed Triggers, Rare Breed Firearms. You have XYZ Distribution LLC. XY. Also, they also misspelled distribution, which is kind of funny. RB Trig LLC as well. And Third Gen Machine is the actual manufacturing company. They were drop shipping them. And they also used ABC IP LLC as another one, which was sent to DEF Consulting LLC. And then the royalty payments came through ABC IP LLC and DEF Consulting LLC. And they all ended up in LAD LLC, which is owned by DeMonico.
Which is Lawrence DeMonico.
Yeah, Lawrence. LX LLC, which is owned by Kevin Maxwell, who owns RBT. Yeah. And then it went to Spider Hole LLC, which is owned by Kevin Maxwell. So, we got a couple super chats here. I'll get to it.
Not Rabbit Hole LLC, just Spider Hole.
Thank you, Rosebite, for the super chats and the super stickers. I'm trying to get through this. At the end, we'll take questions. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these. So I'll read it at the end. Okay. So basically, they're just trying to say that Rare Breed set up this. This is government saying it, not me. So don't get pissed off at me.
Yeah.
They're not trying to say that they tried to obscure where the money was going to because they knew what they were doing was wrong.
I mean, look, it takes a minute to figure out all of these shell companies.
Commentary. Remember? Trying to get through this. We can talk about commentary at the end. Okay. Your OCD is, OCD, your ADD. Okay. Basically, this is saying that that the ATF classified the FRT as a machine gun, and the company was selling them as fast as they could produce. And then it gets into how they didn't have a serial number, which if you have like a machine gun, or ATF considers any device that turns something into a machine gun, and therefore it would have to have a serial number. So it's saying it didn't have it. It's saying that the FAT-D got a hold of one, which I wrote an article about, and determined that it was a machine gun.
Yep.
And this is why it's a machine gun, if you read this paragraph. According to the ATF, I should say. Go ahead.
By contrast, in typical and legal semi-automatic firearms, the shooter must release and pull the trigger to fire a second projectile. The shooter using the FRT-15, however, can fire a second projectile by merely maintaining initial trigger pull and allowing the self-acting internal mechanism to complete its automatic cycle of operation. In fact, the firearm with an FRT-15 installed will continue to fire projectiles in instantaneous succession as long as the shooter maintains continuous pressure on the trigger. Such converted firearm can have a rate of fire that
basically, there you go,
meets or exceeds originally manufactured military specification M16 type machine gun, which can have the rate of fire ranging from 700 to 970 rounds per minute, depending on the configuration.
Yeah, basically they bought two off Gunbroker to do the testing. Okay, now this is where I'm just going to jump over this because we all know what happened. They got a cease and desist, and they kept on selling them.
Oof.
And
so they're talking about the NFA tax.
NFA tax. Now here we go on this right here. Go ahead, Rich.
On July 27th, 2021, ATF officials met with Defendant Maxwell and delivered the letter. At the meeting, the ATF reiterated that to Defendant Maxwell that the FRT-15 is a machine gun. ATF further directed RBT to cease and desist activities related to the distribution of the FRT-15. Also, according to the meeting, Defendant Maxwell said that he was not surprised by the ATF determination. He added that he believed the ATF would have tried to stop RBT from selling FRT-15 sooner than it had.
If he said that, that is damning, and that is not cool, not good.
And they're saying that
I think Kevin Maxwell needs a lawyer.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep on going. We'll do commentary at the end.
Okay. RBT disregarded the ATF and continues to sell the FRT-15. RBT sold thousands of machine guns. Rather than stop selling FRT-15, RBT pressed ahead. RBT boasted that it was engaged in vigorous sales. RBT, what is it? Averred? Never saw that word before. That it had distributed and sold thousands of its FRT-15s in the United States. As of January 18, 2023, on its website, and despite ATF statements to the contrary, RBT states that the FRT-15 is not a machine gun under the NFA or GCA. On RBT's website, a former ATF employee claims that the FRT-15 is absolutely not a machine gun in a video
That's Dan O'Kelly.
Okay. In a video that RBT produced, Defendant Delmonico concedes that RBT was brazen in its non-compliance with the ATF cease and desist request, as he was certain that the FRT-15 was not a machine gun. On the same video, Defendant Delmonico states that there are a handful of gun tubers on henny pennies who have been screaming that the sky is falling after learning about the ATF cease and desist request.
That
Defendant,
he was talking about me there.
I remember that.
yeah,
Video.
Yeah, so this is directly referring to me.
Defendant Delmonico falsely states that on RBT's website that no one who has purchased FRT-15 is affected by the ATF cease and desist request. In September 29, 2021, online video interviewed Defendant Delmonico stated that his RBT colleagues have decided that the proper response to ATF cease and desist letter was to F them. Similarly, an original owner of an RBT who is still actively involved with the company openly stated that he would not comply with the ATF or court order for that matter. And we're waiting for the scroll.
It's up.
And would illicitly sell FRT-15. He further stated he would go to jail if he had to, rather than stop selling the FRT-15. In packaging for the FRT-15 itself, RBT includes a disclaimer, waiver, and release that indicates that Florida law applies to any dispute. Nowhere in the packaging or elsewhere is there any indication that the ATF has classified this device as a machine gun.
Okay,
RBT
that waiver and release, I will say right now, is worthless.
Yeah.
It's definitely worthless.
You mean it's like open software?
Yeah. Don't talk about open software. All right.
RBT brought suit against.
Okay, we can stop there. We'll skip a little bit. This is about them bringing suit, and the suit was dismissed. This is the Florida case. So let's go ahead.
ATF again warned RBT. RBT again aimed to thwart. In October 2021, ATF again determined that the FRT-15 is a machine gun. On November 15, 2021, ATF sent another letter to RBT, again making it clear that the FRT is a machine gun. ATF reminded defendants Maxwell and RBT that a machine gun like the FRT-15 is subject to registration, taxation, and possession restrictions under NFA. ATF further noted that a machine gun like the FRT-15 is subject to the GCA and is subject to prohibitions regarding the possession, transfer, transport of such firearms. ATF concluded its November 15, 2021 letter by reminding defendants Maxwell and RBT that the ATF had provided them with a cease and desist letter in July 2021 and that continued to manufacture and transfer FRT-15s exposes them to criminal prosecution, tax assessments, collections, and seizure and forfeiture of firearms property. Still, RBT continued to sell the FRT-15.
All right, see you, Troll. All right. This is interesting. I read this. Go ahead. This is going to get really interesting.
ATF learned that the company called Third Gen Machine, located in Utah, manufactured the FRT-15 for RBT.
They're the ones that got rated.
And did they take all of the stuff and put it in the parking lot?
We're going to get to that. If I keep it
okay. Third Gen Machine also served as a drop shipper for RBT. That is when a customer placed an order for the FRT-15 from RBT. RBT communicated that order to Third Gen Machine, which would then ship the product to the customer. ATF visited Third Gen Machine January 2022, advised the company that the FRT-15 is a machine gun. It also provided the company with a cease and desist letter like RBT. Third Gen Machine ignored the ATF cease and desist letter and chose to manufacture and distribute FRT-15. ATF thus obtained a warrant to search Third Gen Machine in Utah concerning the FRT-15. ATF executed that search in March 2022. Among other things, ATF seized parts and scroll, please.
Yeah, they seized parts and components intended for the manufacturer of FR-15s. Foreman Machine Gun says it's a civil case. If it's a machine gun, why has no one been arrested? I think that's coming, and you'll see why I think it's coming. So this is interesting. This is what I was talking about.
Despite the fact that its manufacturer and shipper had just been the subject of a court-authorized search and seizure, RBT continued to take steps to sell the FRT-15. Defendant Delmonico traveled to Third Gen Machine to grab what he could for RBT. We got to explain that later. On April 14, 2022, he stormed into Third Gen facility without authorization. Defendant Delmonico told general manager of Third Gen, "I'm here to take my shit," the FRT-15s. The general manager told him not to take the items and advised him that the ATF was coming to take them. Defendant Delmonico scoffed, "I don't care." Third Gen Machine manager told Delmonico that he had planned to call the ATF. Defendant Delmonico told the general manager not to do so until Delmonico had left Third Gen. Defendant Delmonico proceeded to load boxes that contained FRT-15s and company products that Third Gen had set aside to hand over to the ATF into a U-Haul van and drove off. Defendant Delmonico got as far as New Mexico, where he was stopped by the ATF and local authorities. We got to do a movie on this.
All right.
During interdiction, ATF seized from Delmonico just under 1,000 FRTs and over 15,000 parts and components meant to assemble even more FRTs. In addition to its lawsuits, ATF RBT also sued a series of companies in several jurisdictions, claiming that these companies had violated one or more patents.
Okay, this is about the wide open trigger. This is all about the patent dispute. It's not too.
So that's
interesting. All right, keep on going, Rich.
Who are the guys in Gainesville?
Big Daddy Unlimited.
Big video, yeah. Approximately 1 month later, on November 22nd, 2022, RBT sent out a marketing email stated that, as crazy as it might sound, we have WOTs for sale. And you assuredly have questions, but unfortunately, we can't really answer them. We can't tell you where these came from, and we can't tell you. But the rest assured,
a lot of people think that they came from BDU. I saw proof that they didn't come from BDU, and BDU has no idea where they got them from.
That these are real WOTs, notwithstanding the cloak and dagger. These WOTs are the property of RBT and are available now at a ridiculously huge discount.
Okay, this is
RBT.
They're just talking about when there was an email that came out that said we got WOTs and they were being sold for $199, which is they were being sold for $349 before, and Rare Breed called it a fire sale.
There's more. Can we tell other parts of the story or no?
No. So here we go. Go ahead, read 7.
The same day, RBT sent out this email marketing its WOTs. Defendant Delmonico opened a post-page meter with USPS.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
Then used the postal meter to prepare shipping labels, which RBT affixed to the packages containing the WOTs. It shipped to its customers. This
next part might get them in a little bit of trouble because it shows that they were trying to circumvent stuff. So
the shipping labels indicated that the package was coming from Redbeard Treasures. The address listed for Redbeard Treasures was RBT's office in North Dakota Street, blah, what. Nowhere
basically,
on the outside.
They were selling. They were marking it as Redbeard Treasures.
I've got about an hour worth of commentary on this.
I can't. I'm not going to specify, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to second guess, elaborate, and say they were doing this for that. But I know that the government is trying to paint the picture that they were trying to ship them without the government knowing. I think that's what the government is trying to say here, without coming out and saying it.
Yeah.
All right. So here you go.
RBT or rare breed triggers on the package. Okay.
No, right here.
Consistent with ATF's mandate to enforce federal firearms laws, ATF sought to retrieve and recover FRTs. Upon learning that the FRT-15 is illegal, multiple customers have agreed to abandon their purchased FRT property to the ATF. Yeah, not so much. Certain third-party sellers stopped selling FRT-15s after learning the ATF had classified the FRT-15 as machine guns. ATF efforts are ongoing.
All right. Okay. Right here, they are seeking injunctive relief because they are accusing Rare Breed of fraud and a client conspiracy.
All right. So Title 18, Section
Yeah, so
1345 authorizes the United States to commence civil action in any federal court enjoin persons who are violating or about to violate the provisions of certain federal criminal statutes, including fraud statutes, as discussed below with respect to definitions of a Klein conspiracy.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. So they're basically saying we can file suit anywhere, and they've decided to file suit in Brooklyn, which is very, very bad. Very bad. It's probably the most anti-gun district court in the country.
100%.
So that is not good. All right.
Section 1345 provides that a district court may enter such a restraining order or prohibition or take other action as is warranted to prevent a continuing and substantial injury to the United States. Courts
basically, we're going to skip a bunch because this gets into legalese. Basically, they're asking the government to say, that. This right here says they don't have to prove their case. All they have to do is show probable cause that Rare Breed is committing fraud and having a conspiracy. So they don't have to prove the case. All they have to do is prove that they have probable cause to believe that. They also don't have to show irreparable harm to obtain an injunction of this type.
Wow.
So they don't have to do that, which if you were going to get an injunction against the government, you would have to show irreparable harm. But this is it.
So
and this is the
reciprocity doesn't count.
Yeah.
A Klein conspiracy is a charge that relies on the general conspiracy statute, which states if two or more persons conspire either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States or any agency thereof in any manner or for any purpose, and one or more of such persons do any act to affect the object of the conspiracy, each shall be fined under the title or imprisoned for more than 5 years or both.
So that's why when people ask me, why haven't they been arrested? I think they are going to be.
Unlike typical conspiracy, Klein conspiracy focuses on the page being scrolled past too fast to defraud the United States element of blah.
Okay, so basically this is all about Klein conspiracy. This is all legalese.
So, I mean, they're saying tax evasion is a Klein conspiracy, or the Klein conspiracy was tax evasion.
Not only that, we're going to get into that. There's more.
More to it.
Well, wait. There's more.
But wait.
Yeah. Okay, so this is basically just going through Klein and legalese. Basically just saying it's not. So it basically, they're here saying that there's probable cause to think that Rare Breed enter into a Klein conspiracy here. And let's go up right here. Let's start from right here.
By entering into an agreement to sell machine guns in contravention of the GCA and the NFA, defendants have obstructed ATF's regulation of machine guns, which is a lawful government function under 371, United States versus Rodman, blah, I'm going to skip. Conviction ruling that the ATF regulation of a firearm registration and transfer is a lawful government function for purposes of the statute. Blah, legal citation.
All right, just skip down to here. The allegation.
Knowing the ATF would classify the FRT-15 as a machine gun defendant.
No, at the very top of the page.
The allegation that the defendants conspired to defraud the IRS by issuing checks to fictitious individuals and entities makes out an act of dishonesty and deceit, even without ritualistic recitations of the words deceitful and dishonest, citations omitted. Knowing the ATF would classify the FRT-15 as a machine gun, defendants took steps to sell as many as they could before the ATF was able to stop them. They deliberately chose to avoid tipping off the ATF to their activity by not submitting the product to ATF for classification prior to engaging in any sales. In fact, as defendant Delmonico has publicly acknowledged, it is customary for firearms manufacturers and sellers to do just that. But doing so would have given the ATF opportunity to do its job, which is exactly what RPT did not want.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. Sometimes if you got to watch what you say on anywhere, it's going to be used against you.
I agree.
Right.
But the one thing I'll say before we continue, I know no commentary, but just hear me out. If they did truly believe that this was a semi-automatic trigger, most companies do not submit semi-automatic triggers to the ATF for approval.
Yeah, true.
Right? A lot of people are mentioning how, how
can let's jump back on it. I'm trying to get through this. This is a long document.
Nonetheless, ATF ultimately obtained the FRT-15, examined it, and concluded that it was a machine gun under the NFA and GCA. Significantly, on July 26, 2021, ATF executed cease and desist letter in which stated FRT-15 was a machine gun. ATF requested
that what blew up my channel, by the way. All right.
Okay. ATF requested that RBT cease and desist all manufacture and transfer of the FRT-15.
This is basically just reprinting Demonico. And talking about Demonico. Okay.
Okay.
It's this is when he's basically it's just repeating,
summarizing.
Yeah. So this is basically everything that we saw. It also says that he kept on saying that it wasn't a machine gun when the ATF told him that it was. So go ahead. Now start from this page.
Moreover, even assuming that the defendants could have lawfully permitted their FRT to enter into commerce, defendants still deliberately avoided paying the transfer tax and making tax, thus resulting in more than $32 million in taxes plus penalties and interest owed to the United States on the sale or disposal of their machine guns. This conduct alone would be sufficient for purposes of establishing probable cause in a client conspiracy.
All right. Okay. We can skip down.
Legalese.
So now this is where they say there's probable cause to believe that they engaged in mail fraud.
There is probable cause to believe that the defendants have engaged in mail fraud
and wire fraud.
Have engaged in ongoing schemes to commit mail and wire fraud. The essential elements of mail and wire fraud are: 1, scheme to defraud; 2, money or property as the object of the scheme; 3, use the mails or wires for further the schemes.
All right, there's a bunch of legalese now. Start right. Okay, this is just legalese. What they do is they quote cases, right? To prove. There's legal precedent, and they quote from that. And here, this is where they claim that the defendants knowingly engaged in a scheme to defraud.
So, to establish the scheme or fraud element of mail or wire fraud, the United States must demonstrate that there were probable cause to believe that the existence of the scheme to defraud defendants require sinter or fraudulent intent.
It's fraudulent intent to say that.
Materially of the misrepresentations.
It's basically saying that their scheme was to misrepresent what the FRT-15 was.
The scheme to defraud element is construed broadly to encompass everything designed to be defrauded by representations as past or present or suggestions and promises as to the future. Legalese.
Yeah, legalese.
Plan to deprive, trick, whatever.
Okay,
So,
let's start right here.
All right. When they began to sell the FRT-15, defendants obscured the key facts from their customers. Consider what the defendant told the customer, namely that they had obtained opinions of former ATF officials that the FRT-15 was legal. Now consider that they purposely chose not to tell their customers, namely one of those the very same officials had earlier sought an ATF classification of the company A, AR1, that the ATF determined that the AR...
Vic, I'll get to your question in a second. So if you have a question, if I see it, I'll start. If not, you can ask it again. So just...
The ATF determined that the AR1 is a machine gun, that the company created a follow-on product that became the FRT-15.
Basically, is the follow-on product is, okay, well, this is illegal, so I'm just going to make a product that's the same. And basically, the Elon Musk thing, when Elon Musk submitted a flamethrower to Europe and they said no, then he did a follow-on product with not a flamethrower.
Not a flamethrower?
Basically, they're trying to say that they did exactly that, except instead of resubmitting it for approval, they just didn't resubmit it. This is where they say that Rare Breed said it was absolutely not a machine gun, even though that the ATF told them it was a machine gun. I do not agree.
Absolutely
that it's a
not a
machine gun.
flamethrower.
Yeah.
All right, I want to read the gun tuber section.
No, it's just the same thing that about the henny penny things.
Okay.
All right. So now they're saying that defendants possess the requisite fraudulent intent. It's showing that basically that this is saying that they have plenty of proof that it was intentional fraud and reckless indifference to the truth. It wasn't accidental. Like what they did, they knew what they were doing.
Oops, I accidentally sold machine guns.
Yeah. So this is all legally saying that they don't have to show, blah, blah, blah. This is where he was mocking gun tubers, saying that the ATF have no authority to regulate FRT-15, and if he's right, and if it's a semi-automatic, as Dark pointed out, then that's true.
Right. Okay. So you want me to read that part? Or?
Yeah, go ahead, read this.
All right. Defendants' fraudulent intent can also be reasonably inferred based on their myriad of attempts to evade ATF's effort to regulate machine guns. Time and again, defendants were warned by the ATF to cease selling machine guns. Defendants decided, however, to ignore the ATF and continue to sell machine guns. Defendants refused to take any meaningful action to stop selling FRT-15s. Instead, defendants created a convoluted corporate structure to deliberately avoid a clear accounting of what was being sold.
Yeah, we already talked about that. That's with all the different companies and similar
companies, shell companies.
Like
but that's SOP.
Yeah. And so let's go. They say they had misrepresentation. There
was also a probable cause to believe that defendants and co-conspirators' misrepresentations are material. The fraud statutes are violated by affirmative misrepresentations or omission of material information that the defendant has a duty to disclose.
Yeah, basically they're saying that they were told that it was a machine gun and they didn't disclose that it was a machine gun, and therefore the material is a fraud under the mail bank fraud statutes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And this is where they're talking about the wire fraud, misrepresentation of materials, and this talk is talking about how they relied on a half story about the FRT-15 instead of telling everyone. Okay, now start from right here. When?
Under which they were made misleading. When customers learned that the FRT-15 was in fact a machine gun and therefore illegal, some customers voluntarily agreed to abandon their purchased FRT-15s to ATF. Some licensed firearm sellers stopped selling FRT-15s after learning the ATF has classified these as machine guns. Thus, the evidence established that defendants' misrepresentations had direct effect on behavior of its customers.
Yeah, and down here, this is saying that the scheme was to get money because they were in a business. So, of course, they're going to try to get money.
Oh my gosh, is that illegal?
Of course.
Well,
get money?
if
Have a
if
profitable
you're using
business?
fraud to get money, then it is. Okay, then it goes down here. The probable cause is to believe the defendant is using mail fraud and wire frauds to conduct their scheme, which we've already went over. Because they sell them over the telephone, internet, and mail. So that's the mail fraud, wire fraud, and all that legalese.
So for
it's mail fraud because go ahead.
Well, so that's what I was asking. Go ahead.
It's mail fraud because they used a common carrier and they used a fake name.
Redbeard Treasures.
It's mail fraud because they used, let's say, USPS or common carriers, and that they quote, according to the ATF, not according to me, knew they were selling illegal machine guns.
Yeah, and they were selling them through a fake name.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah, I had clarity on that.
Okay, this is just saying that their bank was located in New York City. This is more of the same. Nothing really new here.
Legalese.
Yeah, it's just saying it's everything that we've already talked about. It's just they're saying under this, it's fraud. Under this, it's fraud. This is where they want a preliminary injunction against Rare Breed and a TRO, of course. Just, everyone knows what this is. This is where it gets interesting. This is what I think there will be criminal charges. I honestly do. I hate to say that, and I don't think there should be, but I think that there will.
I don't want to see anyone in jail.
But I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. But from this, it seems like it is going to.
They're not going to give up.
Yeah,
hurt them in every single way.
They're going to hurt them in every single way. So
because they why.
All right, so go ahead, Rich.
For a proposed temporary restraining order, the United States requests defendants and their agents, officers, and employees, and all other persons and entities in active concert or participation with them be temporarily restrained from conspiring to defraud the United States, committing mail fraud, committing wire fraud, conspiring to commit mail fraud, conspiring to commit wire fraud, engaging in any sales of the FRT-15 wide open trigger and any forced reset trigger or other machine gun conversion device until otherwise ordered by this court, and be required to preserve required to preserve all documentation related to the defendant's possession, transfer, and or sale of FRT-15s, wide open triggers, forced reset triggers, and or machine gun conversion devices and components thereof.
Basically, they're saying they're gonna want to get customer records.
Preserve evidence, because like if you all of a sudden your hard drive crashes like the IRS, that would be bad.
We're not talking about the IRS.
Oh.
So go ahead.
For the proposed preliminary injunction, the United States requests that the court issue a preliminary injunction on the same basis as the same effect as the temporary restraining order, and also order the following: permit expedited discovery in advance of preliminary injunction hearing related to defendants' manufacture, possession, receipt, and transfer and sale of FRT-15s, wide open triggers, forced reset triggers, and other machine gun conversion devices. Require that the defendants assist in identifying, locating, and recover all FRT-15s and wide open triggers that have not yet been recovered. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Require that defendants pay restitution to any person who purchased an FRT-15 or wide open trigger, and require an accounting by an independent entity paid for by the defendants concerning defendants' manufacture, possession, receipt, transfer, and or sale of FRT-15s, wide open triggers, forced reset triggers, and or machine gun conversion devices and components thereof to assist in determining the amount of unpaid taxes owed to the government and any money owed to any individual customers For all FRTs, wide open triggers, forced reset triggers, and or machine gun conversion kits sold by defendants, the injunctive relief proposed by the United States is necessary given defendants' extensive history of failing to comply with ATF's notices, inquiries, warnings. Defendants continue to maintain an active website. Individuals are allowed to join a wait list to purchase FRT-15s. Defendants shipped approximately 3,400 shipments of WOTs between December 28th, November 20.
That's insane. That
November
was a lot bigger than what I thought. It's 3460, but that's a lot more. And that's
between in 7 days?
In 7 days they shipped.
In 7 days. Whoa!
Of just WOTs.
Just WOTs.
Watts, not Fritz.
It sounds like common to me. I don't know.
All right, go ahead, Rich.
Indeed, defendant sales have led to thousands of FRTs and WOTs already in the hands of the public, triggers that can cause weapons to fire faster than a military specification M16. Defendants continue to fail pay taxes on their machine guns. In short, nothing short of immediate court intervention will stop defendants from selling machine guns and jeopardizing public safety. To that end, the United States is seeking...
This is all legalese down here. This is them laying out the TRO.
I do have one thing to say on the volume of money that they're claiming is owed. So when we have a moment, I'd like to touch that.
All right, well, we'll touch that. We're almost done here.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, the facts laid out in the complaint here, along with the declaration of ATF Special Agent Dan Kay, show that defendants will go to great lengths to thwart legal process. Among other things, defendants have grabbed items meant to be delivered to law enforcement pursuant to a search warrant and hauled them away and brazenly ignored.
That was the U-Haul
pallet
truck.
left at a parking lot.
No, the U-Haul truck where DeMonico.
Okay. And brazenly ignored repeated demands by the government that they cease and desist illegal activity. Given this history, they are to be alerted to the possibility of a court order. There is a real possibility that they will take whatever steps they believe necessary, whether that might be destroying records or selling off machine gun inventory immediately. The United States is also filing concomitant with the present motion a separate motion for a temporary seal of the docket given these public safety concerns.
They're going to go after them illegally, and this is basically to sign it off. All right, I do want to I highlighted a couple of different things. We got a super chat here.
Rose Blight.
That is still not a definition of machine gun. It's a single action trigger.
Single action of.
But if you change the definition at will, you can have whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah. Vic says the rule of litany. We talked about that on your stream, Darker. The rule of litany would not apply here because they're saying that the rule is not ambiguous. If the rule is ambiguous, then that's when the rule of litany would apply. The ATF is claiming that it is clear. And dark is DLD After Dark, which you should subscribe to. You should also subscribe to Flying Rich, but he is on a little timeout from YouTube.
Yeah, I got
YouTube jail.
You got a channel strike.
YouTube jailbird.
So that's why I'm not live right now on DLD After Dark, because I got a channel strike. So if y'all want to support me during this 1 week of being banned, that would be dope.
All right. So
watch his ish.
So I'm going to go ahead and close that down. So we got all that right now.
Yeah.
Do I think I think this is the first step. I think right now it's the preservation of records. I think that's mostly what they want. They want the customer records. That's just what I think. And
can you call Kevin Maxwell and what's the other guy's name? Why do I keep forgetting?
Lawrence DeMonico.
Maxwell and DeMonico, and let them know to leave their dogs with their neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, I texted Lawrence to ask for a comment.
Smart man would give no comment. So what
if
did he
he's
say?
smart, well, I haven't got heard anything back, which I would. I wouldn't respond either.
I want to explain a couple of things. First off, I think Lawrence Delmonico is baller in a couple of things. Also, I think not so smart in a couple of things. Don't get me wrong, I'm not rooting for the ATF to throw this guy in jail.
Hell no.
As far as I'm concerned, the Second Amendment means anything that I can go bang with, and as many pews or bangs as I want, in rapid succession.
Yeah, here's the thing. What my lawyers have told me is you can talk your way into jail, but you cannot talk your way out of jail.
Correct. As a matter of fact, anything that can and will be used against you in the court of law, but anything you do say towards your case will never be used to help you. So there's literally no yourself.
They anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. They don't say anything that you say can and will be used against you or for you in a court of law, and that is on purpose because it is exactly like they say. They're telling you the way it is. They're not going to help you. Their job is not to get you off. Their job is to prosecute, right? Remember, this is not a criminal case. I want to state this. This is a civil case by the government, but I think it is going to it's going to lead to that. Especially if you look at the charges, they're saying, "Hey, we want to stop this because we believe this is what's going on, and we don't need to prove it. We just need probable cause. We have probable cause to believe all these charges of fraud going on."
So
now, if you read that hold on, if you read that right, and you see that they think that all this stuff is probable cause to get a TRO and a preliminary injunction against DeMonico and Maxwell, you have to expect criminal charges. And I would not be surprised if there's already been a grand jury. But that would be in Florida. That would be in Florida. That would not be in New York. That would probably be in Florida. The Middle District of Florida is where that will happen.
Here's one thing, though. Okay, they're saying that they would owe roughly $32 million in avoided tax stamps, right?
Yes.
I want to debunk that right now because number one, if they're saying that these were post 86 machine guns, right? Then that would mean for them to lawfully be manufacturing them, they would need an 0702 SOT, right? If they were manufacturing them on an 0702 SOT, they would have spent roughly $1,550 to get that, of which the people that they would have been selling them to, which wouldn't be lawful, F the ATF, I'm just saying from their perspective, right? The people
right
lawfully never would have paid the $200 tax stamp anyway. So how are they coming up with $32 million in avoided tax stamps? That never would have taken place.
Because they're post 1986 machine guns.
Yeah.
If you believe the ATF, so they would never be.
But here, I think the important part here is the 0702 SOT doesn't pay the tax. The purchaser pays the tax when they file the paperwork.
But they can't purchase a machine gun if it's post May of 86. So there never would have been a $200 tax stamp ever because the 0702 SOT
I agree with you.
Would have formed 3.
I agree with I 100%. That was part of my point.
So
this is made up. This is a made up amount.
So the $32 million is like, first semester lawyer.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to bankrupt Rare Breed and everyone associated with Rare Breed.
Yeah.
Right.
Which that's why they said you have to pay back. That's why they're wanting them to have to pay back all their customers because they won't pay you back individually. If they had the money, which I guarantee you they don't have all the money that the government wants because they want penalties. They want all this stuff. Plus, you got to remember, they want them to refund the total price of the FRT 15, and part of that price was used to actually build the FRT 15.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they're not going to have the money to pay them back. But what would happen is if they did, it would go into a fund that the government would control
Yeah.
to pay that out. It wouldn't be
And
them
you
paying
get
it
20
out.
cents.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have the money to put it into a fund anyway. So they're just trying to bankrupt them. They're trying to.
But you see that what I'm saying is that the tax stamps wouldn't even be valid.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
I know
they're
what you're
not
saying,
a
but
legally made machine gun. All right. Now, next thing is, don't you think they'd be seizing their bank account before this became public?
who knows if they haven't.
Yeah. I would assume their bank accounts already have been seized.
Yeah.
I think probably from day one, the moment that they didn't comply and they were open about it, they probably started seizing assets right away. That's probably why they had all these different shell companies, Red Beard Treasures.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they seized it or not. I can't say for sure.
I'm guessing. I'm literally.
If they did that. I just want to make sure that we don't have any information that their bank accounts were seized.
Agreed.
But even if they don't file criminal charges, right? The amount, and they lose this, the amount of money that they would owe is insane, and it would and basically, I keep on saying bankrupt, but this is a reciprocity. So you really can't bankrupt yourself over reciprocity. So you're going to owe that money no matter what. So the amount of money that they will owe will basically drain them for life.
Yeah. That's the exact terminology I was thinking. Drain them.
So I keep on saying
That's why
bankrupt, but it's not really bankrupt.
You have to pay
it's more of a
OJ
drain.
cash to play golf with them.
Yeah. So they I mean, you got to give them credit for standing up to the government.
Yeah, they did some baller effing moves as far as standing up against the ATF. So here's what I would say in favor of them. They believed, and I believe with them, I concur with their belief, that the FRT is not a machine gun. And they're like, hey man, it's not a machine gun, I'm selling it. I don't need a letter from the ATF to approve my non-machine gun is a non-machine gun. Yeah. I agree with them on that.
Yeah, I mean, when BDU was served with their cease and desist over their wide open triggers, they stopped selling. So I think that's why they're not in the same situation.
Right.
Because they complied.
Is there a BDU situation we could talk about?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's fine. We're not talking about BDU now. We're just talking about BDU and the peripheral of they sold something similar. But they complied. If you piss off the government's going to come after you. You have to remember that.
Yeah.
Can they win? Yeah, I do not like the district that they're in. I do not like the district. You're in a bad
district to look for. So basically, the government went court shopping and picked the worst court in the world, which is Brooklyn, for them
correct.
to
because the nature of the charges, they can file anywhere in the country.
Well, and also,
so if
what were they accusing Rare Breed of doing before?
Court shopping.
Court shopping, but in this case, court shopping is legal.
Yeah, it's different
because it's the government doing it.
It's funny how that works, right? It just seems that they're to stick it to
if you do it, you're a criminal. If we do it, because we're the government, we do whatever we want.
It's lawful but awful.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry. I wanted to cut people are asking like, why not talk about BDU because I have no idea what. Okay, we'll just do this. Rich, what do you have on BDU that I have no idea?
There was an issue with where I believe the BDU triggers were designed or built.
That's a totally separate issue. You're talking about the ITAR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not really related to this.
I didn't know if that was public information yet.
Yeah, that's public. That's been out there for a long time.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know nothing.
Yeah. The Gun Collective did something on it.
Okay. So
We're not Hush Buick, but the ITAR stuff. But if Gun Collective did a video on BDU and possible ITAR violations, and that's what Rich is talking about,
It's a
that is totally different than anything like that. So we're not hush about certain aspects. It's just I want to keep it on this aspect and not go to like Chat GBT or something like that, which it would end up.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Rich. Are you gonna say something?
Yeah, I look, I commend Lawrence Delmonico and Kevin Maxwell for what they did because they believed, and I believe, I'm just reiterating what I said earlier, that hey man, it's a force reset trigger. You pull, the trigger pushes your finger forward, and you pull back, and it fires again. The trigger is going like that. In the definition of a machine gun says one pull of the trigger is and multiple bullets fire, but the trigger is actually moving.
So there, although I don't, so I agree with you, and although I don't agree with the ATF, what their argument is that if one is to apply a, moderate amount of pressure, because if you pull back,
what they're trying to say is that when you pull it, it's not a conscious action.
Yeah, if you just
but that was never the legal definition.
I know, but I know that they're gonna pull up. I've seen internal documents, which I'm probably gonna release soon, that they're talking about conscious action of a pull, right?
So again, thought crimes.
All right, we got a super chat here.
So a semi-auto trigger is now a machine gun per the ATF. When did the court hearing happen to make them into machine guns? Never. How is that far?
Fair.
Fair. When the FRT get to a court hearing to show it's a semi-auto. So my understanding is that the ATF threw a zippy tie around an FRT and it fired 2 rounds.
5.
5. It fired 5 rounds and then stopped.
Yeah. But
not when the magazine was depleted, or when the magazine was depleted, or
yeah, they only put 5 rounds in there.
So it fired all 5.
Yeah.
Once.
Is that if an individual applies moderate pressure, that there is a contraption within the trigger that will, move the trigger on behalf of the shooter, essentially simulating full auto fire, and then that's when they go into the rounds per minute. But the speed of the rounds per minute and the fire rate has absolutely nothing to do with a machine gun. It is still the shooter, right. Even if there's a contraption that helps reset the trigger is resetting by
analysis. All right,
that's great. By definition, the trigger is resetting, which means for one function of the trigger, which is bang,
with
the binary,
one round is expelled.
Bang, bang. It doesn't even fit their own definition. But here's the problem. We are men using logic to try to explain something that the ATF is doing when the ATF never uses logic for these things. We just went through it with 80% unfinished frames and receivers. We just went through braces. We've been going through the frames and receivers things now for months. It was you can do this, but you can't do it with this. Okay, you can do this, but now you can't. Now you can't do that at all. Now it's braces. Now it's FRT. The dangerous thing, guys, is that people are out there, saying that, well, this person says that they're going to continue selling it, so it must be fine. This store is selling it. This gun broker page is selling it, so it must be legit. Either way, right or wrong, definition or not, the ATF considers this a machine gun. So just be aware of what you're doing. I don't want anybody to end up in a bad situation, especially viewers. I care a lot about our viewers, and I don't want y'all trouble.
Well, here's another thing, right? Rare Breed said their facility did not get raided, and technically they were right.
Yeah.
But if you read that, it's because it was drop shipped from another company, and that company did get raided.
Which was Third Gen Machining, right?
Yes.
Now, it also looks like Third Gen Machining was cooperating with the ATF. I'm just going to say that.
They were. But that, so, when I reported that Rare Breed got raided, I guess
So
it actually did
my
happen.
question is, how many of these RBTs are out there, WOTs? 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million? Do we have
Yes.
any guesses?
I mean,
I don't know, a lot.
million by 200.
All right. So, and what I want to know is these things. So let's just say there's 500,000 RBTs out there. These things are so crazy dangerous that every single one of these 500,000 RBT machine guns out there have killed hundreds of thousands of people each.
Yeah.
Oh, not so much.
Do the math right now. Do you have a calculator handy?
I'll mark calculate it.
Do 32 million by $200.
Hold on.
Because if the ATF came up with 32 million, they're using a unit price
32, 1, 2,
right.
3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 200. Well, they said fines also, so that's 160,000.
Okay. Holy shit. That's a
So
lot. I thought it
well,
was
let's just say there's 160,000 RBTs out there. I know of 0 effing crimes committed by these dangerous, as we know they said they were dangerous, machine guns. So the other thing is, John, help me out here. Dan O'Kelly is credible in the statement the government produced, this legal document?
Well, Dan O'Kelly, no, Dan O'Kelly was the Rare Breed hired them, and he said it wasn't a machine gun.
Was not.
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to check on that one.
Yep.
So, I'm just, and again, so one, like, Dark makes the point that, hey, these you couldn't collect taxes on this because they were not legally manufactured before 1986.
at a maximum, they would have received $1,500 or $1,550, whatever in 0702 SOT.
Right, 070T fees, 0702 fees,
And then
SOT.
if that were the case, if they were machine guns, then they would have not received $200 per, because every transaction at that point isn't lawful. So they're reaching really, really far with that $32 million number.
Right, but what they're hoping for is, because we all know a judge in Brooklyn would know everything about a machine gun and machine gun laws.
Yeah, about that.
So he's gonna grab his rubber stamp and approve, and by the way, seize their bank accounts.
Okay, hold on. Enough people have given me crap for it. Hold on.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon because we've been on for over an hour.
Yeah, and guys, sub my channel. If there's 500 of you out there, I'd really appreciate 500 new subs. So Flying Rich on YouTube's.
Yeah.
Here you go, guys.
I appreciate it.
A lot of people were saying Dark is out of uniform, so there you go. I'm in uniform. Is wrapping it up?
Yeah,
we're trying to look like Timcast IRL.
Yeah,
they'll probably go off the binary triggers. Stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah. I
have one right here. I haven't put on my MP5, but binary trigger for MP5.
Dude, I still haven't gotten mine yet.
Really?
So,
well, dude, just pay full price like I did.
Yeah, I could, but I'm
just joking.
But I do want to give a shout out.
Richcast.
I did get Richcast. I did get a strike on my YouTube channel for literally just showing a handgun and explaining. It was a 13-second video. It's crazy. There's literally no reason, no rules that were broken, no guidelines. F off, Rich. And here I go. I get a strike. So if you guys out there could help me, DLD After Dark, I do a show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
It's a great show.
10 p.m. Thank you. At 10 p.m. Eastern.
He's got a great co-host usually.
Sometimes.
All right, come on, guys. I gotta get out of here.
DLD After Dark on YouTube, DLD After Dark on Instagram, and I have a website business, DLD Hardware, where I sell jigs. If you need to finish polymer 80s and other gunsmithing stuff, DLD.com, and they're going to be the cheapest everywhere out there. So that's
okay.
Sure.
Sub to Flying Rich. He also helped me at John Crump Alive. So Flying Rich on all social media platforms, including MySpace, which is not even a joke. Flying Rich _official on Instagram. That's where you can find him at. I do want to pitch one more thing. I'm going to put a link in the chat, and this is a fundraiser for Richard Hoffman. Richard Hoffman, the Hoff, as we call him, is the world's most respected submachine gun builder.
Uzi builder.
Yeah.
They've given him very little time to live, so he doesn't want his kids to be burdened with the cost of all the arrangements after he leaves this world. So we are trying to raise money for him, and also on Sunday night at 8 p.m. right on this channel, we're going to be doing a live stream to try to raise money for him. I'm trying to get at least $10,000, hopefully more than that, because I hate to say, I'm going to have to say it. Funerals are expensive.
Yeah.
They're usually around 15,000. We have 3,000, and we want to let him know that his send away will be good. All the money goes directly to his family. The way Gibson go is I set it up, and then I put, okay, this is the person that's going to receive the money. Yeah. And then they enter their bank account information. So money never goes to me whatsoever.
Yeah. And actually daily goes out to them.
It goes to them daily too. So that's why we did Gibson Go. So we don't have to worry about transferring it over. So I'm going to put the link out there one more time.
Because he's the most, like
he is the most based guy in the world. He also hates the ATF and told the ATF to go F themselves several times when they came.
Oh yeah,
and told them that if they come back, that he is going to use his machine guns on them.
Don't say
it. He doesn't. I don't think he really cares at this point.
He doesn't care.
Well, not that he cares. I think he told him once you don't have enough body bags.
Yeah, he said, if you come, bring body bags.
Yeah, that's what he told him. He told the ATF, if you come, bring body bags. So, yeah. So, okay.
He is one of the most world-renowned builders of Uzis and subguns, like John and Rich said. The thing is that like GoFundMe and places like they're going to take the money. As soon as they find out he's a fire manufacturer, they're going to take it. So
yeah.
Gibson Go is the best. So anything you guys could do.
And his wife just died too, like not too long ago. So his kids are really hurting. So it's not. Just I'm going to do whatever we can.
Yeah, and
I've given $250. Dark's given money. Rich have given money. Everyone's given money.
And even if it's $1 or $2 or $3, $5,
well, I think it's $5 is the minimum. I looked.
Okay, so it will drive traffic and urgency, and it will encourage other people to contribute. So we appreciate anything that you guys can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. We got to come together as a firearms community. But that is it. So, as I always say, stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, be kind to each other, and keep the thing. No, that's Dark's thing. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free. Keep in the fight. We are out of here. Thank you so much, guys. I love you guys. And